everyone. Welcome to the Keemah.G podcast. Thank you for kicking it with us. Today, I'm sitting down with somebody that I've known for a very, very, very long time. But over the years, we kind of separated and we found each other again in the grocery store. So, the man that I'm going to be speaking to today, his name is Mathew Regis. He's a father, he's a man of God, he's an entrepreneur, and he has a story that is very compelling that I know that will really benefit a lot of men out there. So, hello, Regis.
Hey, peace, Keemah.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm like
You're doing well?
going to benefit a lot of. I mean, I hope
Yeah.
that you can find value. I mean, I think the more anyone communicates, we can find value in what it is that they have to share.
Hmm.
So I'm just one that's willing to share.
Yeah.
So whomever is able to bring value from it and add to the conversation, that's the hope. That's the
Yeah.
prayer.
Good. And Regis, like I'm gonna give the background. So I've known Regis for since I was 14.
Yeah.
So I was 14. I met Regis through my cousin, and that summer you were hanging with me and my cousins and my family, the park. We grew up in LaSalle.
Mm-hmm.
And on the football field as well. Regis, you were a football player.
Mm.
Very good at that too, you
You're
know.
very kind.
Yeah, you were my cousin, but we were on that field like every weekend. And as we got older, I didn't see you for so many years.
Hmm.
Like it was a lot of years that I didn't see you. And then after I was in tow in the grocery store, that's how you pronounce it, right?
Towels. I mean,
Tao.
I say
I know
towels.
it's a French mito. Tao. So I was there in the grocery store and I just randomly seen Regis. I call him Regis. His name is Matthew Regis, but we call him Regis. And we just started to talk.
Hmm.
And then after I seen you again in the grocery store, and I told you I was pregnant.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Yes, yes.
That's right. I mean, if two random or not so random times
Yeah.
that two people could go to a grocery store,
Hmm.
I seen you after 16 years or whatever amount of time it is, and then I seen you again and you're pregnant.
Yeah.
That was
And we exchanged numbers, so every now and then we kept in contact.
yeah.
And what I've really liked from you is that I didn't really know you personally back then, but I knew you personally. Like I didn't know of you, like I didn't know what was your personal life, but I knew you. Hey, Regis, we're cool, we chill. And when I got to know you this time around, I seen such a well-rounded, developed man, and I was just like, we had a lot of conversations over the phone in terms of your growth, in terms of things that you had to self-reflect on for yourself. And I felt like I've been trying to get you to come to the seat, I think, for 2 years. So he finally said yes. And I'm really compelled of your story and your growth. I feel like your honesty and your transparency is what oftentimes is lacking in a lot of people. And I feel that just where you're coming from and what you've learned is very interesting. So my first question to you, because I did write questions, and my first question to you is, who were you as a young man in comparison to the man you are today?
Well, well, this is the thing because
Hmm.
you said honesty and transparency, right?
Yeah.
These are things that I lacked,
Okay.
and it's in finding out that I lacked it where I asked myself the question,
Hmm.
are these qualities that I'm ready to not really work on,
Okay.
not being
How did you
honest.
notice that you lacked them though? What made you
Well, because
understand
of the
that?
people around me. Well, quite
Okay.
honestly, I was in a relationship for 12, well, I think, yeah, about 10 to 12 years, or
Hmm.
11, yeah, 10 to 12 years.
That's a
And
long time.
it's with the one woman that I had 4 children with.
Okay.
And I went into that relationship, let's say, first and foremost, not being honest with myself,
Hmm.
because I'm ignorant. I think I was 25 at the time. I don't have really a father figure. I've created a construction of what I think is a father figure in my mind, and I kind of moved on that.
And what was that construction like? What was that example?
Well, in my particular case,
Hmm.
m- my father wasn't around.
Okay.
Uh, a lot at all. So from 0 to 6, I could have faint memories of him, but
Hmm.
then from 6 until 19, I might have seen him once every other year. And then at 19 years old, my sister got married. He was at the wedding, and so I got to see him then.
Was there any communication over the phone?
Not really. My dad never really, it felt like anyway, he never really tried to have a relationship with
Relationship.
me.
Mm.
However, uh, people always said that he was a good person. He was really cool. Women
Mhm.
really liked him. He liked a lot of women. My mother was one of many women that he had.
Yeah.
And so when I came to kind of understand that by the time I was 16 years old, I had created an image of him as kind of being a rolling stone, like, like
Mhm.
someone who is likable in the community, gets women's kind of popular, and I kind of created that ideology for myself. And playing football was kind of a construction on that psychology, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I became playing football, and I became talking to girls, and I became.
Did you think it had any? Did it bother you at the time that you didn't have a strong relationship with your father?
It didn't bother me because I didn't necessarily feel the lack, because my mother is one of nine,
Okay.
and four of them are men. Those are my uncles,
Okay.
and my uncles are really good people.
Big
I
family.
really like my uncles. I could call each and every one of my uncles to this day,
Okay.
and they were good examples of men in my life. And for a portion of my life, from 14 to 19, I lived with my auntie Lorna, and she was married to her husband.
Okay.
So I lived in a house where there was a black man and a black woman and black children, which were my cousins, and I was in that structure.
Yeah.
It was kind of like Full House. And so I got a chance to see it, so I didn't feel at a lack.
Mhm.
But as far as like my own personal direction as a man as to what I could look at as a model or an idea or an example, I created that for myself.
Okay.
And so the one thing, as a child, I was very curious. Right
Mhm.
now, as a man, I'm still curious. As a child, I was very ignorant, and so I couldn't be honest with myself because I'm ignorant to myself.
Yeah.
So, whereas now I've done the work, especially having separated from my children's mother, which was heavy. I would almost say traumatic experience because I didn't expect
What do
that.
you find that was a wake up call for your change, or like
That
what
was
was the
huge.
pivotal
Yeah,
moment?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I found out when she didn't want to be in the relationship anymore, that definitely, like, my whole wall, everything that I created for myself, the house of the mental mind frame that I created for myself just shattered
Shattered.
because it wasn't real. It was because I wasn't being honest with myself. I wasn't looking at things as they were happening, and I wasn't paying attention while the termites were eating through the walls.
So what
So,
were you thinking in that moment? Like you said you weren't being honest with yourself. Like
yeah,
what kind of, I wouldn't say delusion, but what
yeah, it's a
kind of
good question. Yeah,
delusion?
well,
Like
I would say tunnel vision.
tunnel vision. And
Yeah,
what were you
tunnel
focused
vision.
on in the tunnel
I was
vision?
I was focused on my idea of what a man was.
And what was that?
I go to work and get money. I bring it back. I don't cheat on you, so you should be happy. Don't
You
ask me
should
for
just
nothing.
shut up, right?
Type. I feel that's so harsh. I don't think I roll like that. I don't have that energy. You should
Yeah.
shut up. No, I don't roll like that. But for the most part, as far as like what I seen in the black Anglophone Caribbean community in Montreal that I
Mhm.
grew up around and saw, and what I saw in my own family, and from what I conscribed in myself, I saw that I could be good. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would be a good man if I chose one woman,
Yeah.
only had children with that one woman,
Mhm.
went out, got money, gave it to her. She cooked for me. We good. Everything in between, with regards to emotional intelligence and taking care of myself and her mentally, spiritually,
Mentally, emotionally.
emotionally, physically, and all that other stuff, I was ignorant to that.
And do you feel that your upbringing shaped that ignorance? Because you did say you grew up in a
Well,
full house kind of effect.
yeah, it was well round. Well, nobody told me about relationships.
Ships. Okay. That's the thing.
It
So you had
was,
the male figure, you had the woman
yeah.
figure, but then nobody was teaching you about relationships.
How about nobody was teaching me about having healthy, spiritually led relationships?
Ships. Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, because it's like because I could say
Just
I can't judge between one relationship and
mhm.
another. You know what I mean? I could just say the relationships that I saw. That's what the dynamic was. As long
Okay.
as I don't cheat on you, I'm a good man. Don't ask me for nothing more.
So
That was ignorant.
what was some of what was some of the issues if you don't mind me asking, because you provided,
Mm-hmm.
you were at home, you were not cheating.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you feel like, and tell me if I'm going to into your business kind of, you know?
I know we're here though. Let's do
Exactly.
this.
Let's do it. So what was it about, what did she say that she was missing in the relationship, why she could not continue the relationship with you?
Well, one of the big things that she would say a lot was that I wasn't honest. I wasn't being honest. Yeah, I wasn't being honest. I think the lack of honesty was like I think when she said that, she
Mhm.
meant one thing, and when I heard it, I heard another thing.
Yeah.
And then, but I think if I just look at it from the big picture of my creator speaking to me through
Mhm.
whom was the closest person to me at the time, I took it as a journey to say, okay, well, what did I provide? What didn't I do? What was going on? So
Mhm.
what did she share? Well, I really wasn't emotionally responsive to her.
Mhm.
Like I didn't really concern myself with how she was doing, like like mentally and
Emotionally.
spiritually and emotionally. She never felt that I truly cared. Well, because I would sit down and be like, oh, hey, what's up? What's going on? What's good with you?
Mhm.
But I don't think she ever really felt that I sincerely cared
Yeah.
what was good with her. And so
Mhm.
she never opened that part up to her
Yeah.
of herself. And I'm already like an open book.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I created that
She's okay.
I'm okay. I opened up to her, so
Mhm.
I'm good, and she has all of me. And I asked her if she was good, and she said, yeah, so we're good.
Yeah. There's nothing else to think of.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. We don't need to go on no dates. We don't need to take no extra time for nothing. I don't need to think more
Mhm.
about what you might need in your life just as a human being, aside from being in relation with me,
Mhm.
because I asked you if you were good, and you said yeah, or what you said you weren't okay with. I don't
Do
care
you
enough
ever
to
feel
change.
that sometimes, because this is where I think your awakening has come in relationships, do you ever feel sometimes that she may have been saying stuff, but maybe you just were not being attentive to what her main core needs were at the moment? It's a
Thousand
percent.
percent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you straight up, I didn't care enough. I was so the tunnel
Well,
vision.
that's honest.
Well the tunnel vision was this.
Mhm.
I was tunnel vision because we were in a situation where I was able to provide for us
Okay.
through an activity of sale,
Mhm.
right? That I was into at the time.
Yeah.
And I ended up being really good at it. So we were making enough to be able to sustain ourselves. So here I am thinking I'm in a blessed position where I could
Mhm.
go out, do something that's an honest work that I'm really good at, and bring home enough for you to not have to go to
Yeah.
work, take care of the children, and I get to have fun, like doing what I'm doing when I'm out.
Mhm.
And while I'm out, I'm not dealing with no other women. So there should be no problem.
Yeah.
And so I was focused in on that while she was having her needs, and I wasn't looking at I did not care to stop because I was so fixated on, like, yo, I'm going out, I'm doing something good, make money, you don't have to work, children are good, the family's good.
And I think that that's a lot of times we see in relationships, especially now. I find that, how can I say this? I don't say all men miss the mark, but a lot of men are missing the mark, when it comes to emotional intelligence, spiritually being connected with your woman, And I think it has to do with the society and the norm in society of saying that men only have to provide financially.
Hmm.
And while they provide financially, it's great. But then again, like when you think about just how the human functions, there's other needs to humans,
For sure.
and money being the important tool to have, but it's not as important when it comes to spiritual growth, emotional growth, and all that. So, and like you said, based on what you said, growing up, you had the role models, but you didn't have anyone who's showing you what that emotional intelligence was to her. So, what did you learn now that you're looking back in hindsight? Like, what did you learn that you could have done differently, and came a little bit on a more, how do I want to put this? Spiritually, what could you have done differently? Emotionally, what could you have done differently? Because financially, you already got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Spiritually, what I would have done differently is, well, I would have been more self-disciplined because
Okay.
I would have I would have guided myself with a principle that said, okay, this is my wife. Am I really being I wasn't spiritually well rounded. I wasn't taking care of myself
Yeah.
spiritually. So it led for me to not have a sincere care for how she was doing spiritually because I wasn't concerned with myself
So,
spiritually.
yeah.
I also wasn't being self-disciplined. I
Mhm.
wasn't being a good example of the type
Mhm.
of human being that I would have wanted to be myself, much less for her. So my standards were very low, you know?
Okay.
I didn't lead, now that I really think about it, I didn't really lead a lot.
Mhm.
Other than say I went out and got money and came back, I
Mhm.
didn't lead a lot. I didn't lead anything. I
Yeah.
hardly led myself.
Yeah.
And so that was definitely missing me now here looking back at that. So what I would have done differently is I would have gotten up early and did some push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, and
Mm-hmm.
took an hour to
Center
study and
yourself.
reflect and center
Mm-hmm.
myself, and ate healthy. I ate terribly
Mm-hmm.
during that relationship, which messed up my chemical emotional balance because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like over caffeinated, over
So
sugar,
you're overstimulated, not
overstimulated,
focused.
not focused. The only thing I know how to do is go do the specific thing to go
Mm-hmm.
make money that I'm thinking in my world
Mm-hmm.
is enough.
Yeah. And in a little bit it sounded like you were more self-centered at
Very
that moment.
self-centered
Like
and
I'm trying to be careful with my words 'cause I don't want to
individualistic.
offend you, you know,
No,
but I know,
no, no, no. Let's
yeah.
talk. Let's keep it
Yeah,
real.
let's keep it real. Like you were a little self-centered, and but also too, when looking back, because we always have to look back to reflect. Do you feel that if you had a father every day in your life
Mm-hmm.
and present, do you think that it would have been a different for you?
100%.
100%.
Because the type of character that I am,
Yeah.
if my dad was in my life,
Mm-hmm.
apparently he was a mechanic. Like if he was in my life, I would have become a mechanic.
Yeah.
Straight up. That's the type of person I
But
am.
do you think that your ideology on seeing relationships would have been a little bit different?
Well, I would have taken to, like, I know my dad a little more now
Yeah.
because I speak to him now. In the last
Yeah.
year and a half, I've been encouraged and I pushed myself to actually call him
Mm-hmm.
and talk to him and get a feel for the type of man that he is. And I've been able to reconstruct the narrative that I created and understand that he was just a man in his early 30s doing his thing,
Yeah.
from his island. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, pardon me, I don't want to get off the mark. What was the question or the thought that
I
you
was
had
saying that if your father was in
in
your
my
life,
life?
present in your life, would your relationships, your ideology on relationships be
Have
different?
be different? I don't think they would have been as advanced.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm further ahead
Yeah.
than if I would have kind of cleave to what my father
Mm-hmm.
was, is,
Yeah.
was at his
Yeah.
age, I guess, because he's not that anymore. He's 73 now. So when he was 30 and would have been taking care of me, and then as I grew up as a teenager, if
Mm-hmm.
I followed in his footsteps or just watched him, I would have been very closely centered still around that. I
Yeah.
can't say
Yeah.
that I would have become the man that I am right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Do you think a lot of qualities that you had when you were younger, even though your father wasn't present,
Hmm.
they still connected with who your father was when he was younger?
Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
so because
Genes are a big thing.
he has a great smile.
Yeah.
My dad is a cool guy to be around. He's
Mm-hmm.
not a heavy-hearted person, and I think that though I didn't grow up with him,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I would say is genetic
Okay.
because I am a genuinely happy person that likes to smile. I've
Mm-hmm.
just been doing the inner work and journey to find more deeply principled things to smile about.
Okay. Okay. So I have another question for you. Um, what was your thought process as a, well, I think you kind of explained this, but I think you could go into it a little bit more. What was your thought process as a younger man entering into relationships? Like thinking back to 16, 16-year-old Regis, like what was your mindset?
Entering into relationships,
Like what was it when you were younger?
well, I've always been attracted to women. I like girls. I like women.
Thank you,
You know what I
Jesus.
mean?
Hmm.
I'm just saying that
Hmm.
like I could hang out with women. I used to hang out at the salon
Okay.
because I had hair. I
Hmm.
had like ludicrous. I had a lot of hair. I'm bald now, but I
It's
had a
okay.
lot of hair. So I used to go to salon to get my hair done.
Hmm.
So I'd be around a lot of women. You know what I mean? And listening to them. And I was a single parent. My mother was the single mother, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And she did the thing that women did. And
Yeah.
her women friends came over,
Hmm.
and they're mostly sisters in the family, right? So
Yeah.
I was still around a lot more aunts than uncles. So I was around a lot of women,
Hmm.
you know? So when it came to passing puberty and, you know, now it's, let's see what this other thing is called sex.
Yeah.
I got into it from a very curious point of view,
Feel. Yeah.
and it was connected loosely, of course. It was connected with my ego and with what I thought a man was and what I was supposed to be as a man.
Hmm.
So I thought I connected having sex with women as my masculinity, as being a man, as being, like what I thought my dad was. And so my relationship with women was very like egocentrically
The
driven. Like, yeah, so it led to me having a very promiscuous youth.
okay.
Yeah,
And when you think back to it, um, do you have any regrets
yeah.
with how you treated women?
Well, I don't know if I don't think, okay, I wasn't perfect, but I wouldn't say
You don't
that
think
I
you were
mistreated
mistreated?
women.
Or okay,
There are
well,
levels
I
to it,
okay,
of
there is
course,
levels, but
but like
um
I didn't like, I didn't
there
think
is
I,
levels, 100%. Because I don't want to make it seem like he was out here beating up on people, you know? No, not
you
at
know what I
all.
mean?
But at some point, if we're keeping it real, you and I didn't know this at all. It's
Mhm.
only when I got to seeing you after the grocery store where you told me you're a little bit of a Gyalis,
Yeah, I was like, Gyalis.
you know? And I'm like, Regis? I'm like, what? I'm
Because I
like,
didn't talk. I wasn't a talker. Still
no,
not a
he was just
talker.
smooth
Yeah,
with it.
just move with it. I learned a lot being that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as and I thought being that way was my manhood, and it was who I was. It gave me an identity to a certain degree until I didn't want to be with around so many women.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, I'm going to choose one, and I could remember when I was 19 years old, I got in a relationship for 1 year. And then I moved away to go somewhere else to play football.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of Gyalis during university. And then I came back to that desire to finding one again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I had been in pursuit of when I met the woman who would give me 4 children. And but and but looking back, I do regret not dealing with, finding learning the things I learned about myself and women, and
Mm-hmm.
in another way,
Okay.
rather than being in so many multiple promiscuous relationships.
Jobs. And I think like when I find that like just based on my experience as we get older, I hear a lot of men say that, like, well, I'm not doing what I used to do. And a lot of
Yeah.
them think because you're not doing what you used to do, it means that you're this perfect man
Hmm.
and you're God's gift to women now.
Hmm.
No. And I think that when I speak to you, you have a clear understanding now that it's not just about because I'm not doing what I could be doing.
Yeah.
Is what do you need to be doing for
Yeah.
this to function
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
So now when you're looking, not you're in a new relationship now. If
Hmm.
well, if you know, I said it, you're in a new relationship now. So how has your past shaped you into moving forward into a new relationship? Because I know you are a husband, you want a wife, and I know that that's your goals. So coming from Gyalis to daddy to now daddy wanting to be a husband, pursue his chapters in the next chapters as a husband. um what are you taking with you? What are you learning? How are you entering into this new relationship,
Hmm.
learning what you've learned so far?
Well, you laid the trajectory quite well from Gallus to saying like, "Yo, I'm not doing what I was
Is
doing,
doing.
so you should be happy. I'm perfect."
Mm-hmm.
That was the self-centered, individualistic,
Yeah.
solofilistic psychology that I had,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the woman that I thought should be so grateful that she was with me
Mm-hmm.
was like, "No, I don't want to do this." When that broke all of the glass, and then
Before you answer my question, speak about that. Like, what was that feeling? Like,
okay, put it this way. I didn't cry when my mother passed away,
mm.
but I bawled like a child when that relationship was like done.
And why did you buy like a child? What was it telling
I
you?
don't know, man. It was crazy. It was just a lot of energy just right at that time. But I think that's how deeply constructed that lie was to myself as to who I was and what I
Or
was
what's doing?
doing.
Yeah.
Because now something was self evidently before me that what you thought
Mm-hmm.
was is not that.
Mm-hmm.
So that I started from scratch, and a lot of bitterness, grudge, and anger, and but then it led me to have to ask myself the question: Who was I? Who am I? What
Yeah.
was I doing? What could I really have done? And I had to be sincere towards my creator and
Mm-hmm.
what my values were and my ethics, and it made me really have to take those steps
Mm-hmm.
in self-discovering who I am. And it took the better part of 4 years,
Yeah.
which I wanted to not do and
Mhm.
wanted to rush through and would have fallen into another relationship happily could I have, but I'm glad I didn't because
Yeah.
it gave me a time to
Do
learn
the
who my
work.
children were
Mhm.
and to rediscover my connection to my creator and what my value was to the people who are around me and the type of man that I wanted to
Yeah.
become. It made me really desire to think, what kind of man do I want to become? Because I created what I wanted to become when I was younger with my
Mhm.
dad. That fell apart.
Yeah.
That matured and fell apart. Now,
Mhm.
who do I want to become? So I started looking at. That's actually when I got red pilled. You know, I
Mhm.
got fall into the manosphere. So I listened to Kevin Samuels,
Oh,
Fresh and
Kevin
Fit.
Samuels.
I went
Some things he
hard,
says made sense, but
like
sometimes I was like, Kevin.
hours upon hours of content, just trying to
Mhm.
figure out, why did I lose this relationship? What
Yeah.
are women? What is this like?
And I think, like, I could be wrong, but you, in your mindset at that moment,
Mm,
you're finally like, I'm not doing what I used to do.
mm-hmm.
So how comes it ended like this? How comes it, like, that's the biggest shot to the ego, number one.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
silenced your ego a lot.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what that is.
And it allowed you to grow in your spirit.
I grew from there. I
Mhm.
started deciding to actually do the work to start growing from there. And the proof is in the pudding. I have a great relationship with the children's mother right now.
That's good. I'm happy for
You
that.
know, I see where I could add more value. I have a better relationship, a better honest relationship with my children. It's
Mhm.
not perfect. It's not where I would like it to be. However, it's not like how I don't treat them as possessions as I used to.
Yeah.
You know, I understand that they are God's blessings, and I have bestowed stewardship
Mhm.
over them. So I look more towards leadership now.
Yeah.
So when I wake up in the morning, because you're asking about going into the relationship,
Mhm.
I do consciously think, okay, well, I want the best for myself. I want the best for the people that are around me, but especially for the woman, my wife, that I would like
Well,
to
to
be
be
with.
with,
So
yeah.
I want to choose the things that I would be the best example for her for,
Mhm.
whether it be reading, writing, constructing an idea creatively, going out and making money, having a political thought, you know what I mean? Praying together before we eat, like whatever is going to make you the better version of yourself.
Self. Mhm.
That is something I have a sincere interest in right now.
Mhm.
Um, Particularly for the my new relationship, and it's so it's so inspiring
Mhm.
that I would like to take that energy and build that more into my children as well, because I
Yeah.
have a sincere desire to see them become great people. I have a sincere desire to see my children's mother grow into the whomever she wants to
Yeah.
become.
You
uh,
sound right, like right now, and even before when I speak to you, you sound like a man with purpose.
Praise Yahweh.
Yeah.
Well, I purpose is definitely my desire,
Mhm.
and the thing that I would like the most is to fulfill my creator's purpose on earth and to fulfill my greatest potential before my time
Mhm.
is has elapsed. And so it is inspiring, as I shared before.
Yeah.
There are still habits that I have to overcome.
Mhm.
However, because of this newfound purpose, I'm confident that I'll overcome them. And
Yeah, for sure.
my desire is truly to be a blessing to those who are around me. So if I choose Montreal, I'm in Montreal. If I'm in southwest of Montreal or the plateau, that's where I'm at.
Mhm.
Anywhere where I go or travel, I would like the blessing touch,
Yeah, the best
through
version of yourself.
the best version of myself so I can
Yeah.
draw the best version out of yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with honesty. It's the key to unlocking the honesty in the person you're speaking with.
Yeah. And then when you're honest with yourself, it's easy for people to be honest with you. And I think
That's the
that,
thing.
and
Yeah,
I
that's the
think
key.
like honesty, without honesty, transparency, and looking at yourself for the good and the bad. Everyone says be real, but really being real with yourself, you could unlock your key to your healing. Like without it, and I that's what I like when I spoke to you those times, because you may have said you weren't honest before, but I don't know that Regis. I know the Regis that I met at Toe recently. And what I like is that you could say, maybe I was feeling this way, maybe I was feeling this way. And there's no shame to it, there's no guilt, there's no pride. And the biggest thing I find with men is their ego. Like the ego is, it's great sometimes in business situations, to make a business deal, but its ego is not for relationship. So what could you speak on in terms of ego and what you've learned as a man and your growth? He reaches every time I ask a question, his eyes are like,
Ego.
mhm.
Okay, define ego. Can you define ego?
To
So,
be honest, the clinical, like not the
well,
clinical,
okay,
but
what do
the
you mean by ego?
ego is that thing inside you that needs to be validated all
Okay,
the time.
okay.
Is that where if we're on the same
Well, I'm
yeah.
listening.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
we'll
like it
use that
needs to be
definition.
validated because you feel that that validation is saying something about you. It's
Hmm.
very, is it carnal when it's not spiritual? It's very
Yeah,
yeah, it's very
yeah.
carnal. Like um it's very human. Like it's
Hmm.
not really saying to yourself like, God, who are you to me? You know what I'm saying? What am I who am I to you and what am I here for?
Okay.
I think like it's very
So
egocentric.
ego. Are you saying ego is validation outside of the creator?
Yeah, more or less. Well, for people that don't believe, for
Okay.
example, say for and I'm just saying that I'm a believer, you're a believer. But for people that don't believe, it's more like self-centeredness, all
Okay.
about you, selfish.
Okay.
I do believe
Okay.
that sometimes an ego is good for you
Hmm.
because in certain business deals, when you're dealing with
Right.
snakes,
Right.
you have to put your
You're
best
looking
foot
for the
forward.
best. Yeah.
Exactly.
Best
But
outcome.
I think ego has a lot to do with I need to feel a certain way about myself. So I look for external factors to validate that within me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, okay. Well, yes. My relationship was an external factor that
Hmm.
I used to validate myself. So if I introduce myself to an old friend, yo man, what's going on with you? Oh, yo, I got a wife, I got children, I'm doing this music thing. These were all
Hmm.
identifiers of my ego.
Yeah.
So my ego was shattered
Hmm.
when the relationship
And
ended.
then.
So the reconstruction of my ego was in finding my values,
Hmm.
where my ethics lay, where my morals were. Man, I have no morals. I have very little morals.
Hmm.
Like I have very little self-discipline. So I'm like, well, okay, granted, I have very little self-discipline. Do I want to stay having very little self-discipline? No. I want to have self-discipline. So I'm gonna push it. My ego is now being constructed by things that are inward. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Now I check myself. I have greater accountability.
Ability.
Did I do this thing or not do this thing is a shot to my own ego within myself outside it, rather than, oh, anything outside of myself
Yeah. Self
defining me.
value.
Yeah,
You found self value in
self
yourself.
value. So it's more associated to my self value.
Okay. I agree. I like that. And this is the last two questions I have, which I love this part because I love being a mom. I'm a new parent. Regis is a vet in the game. But being a father of four young ladies, how has that changed you? And how has that opened you up to exploring things in your childhood that you needed to address?
I don't know if I need to address anything in particular in my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my mother did the best she could, being a Caribbean mother, immigrant, single
Yeah.
parent, living in Montreal, French language,
Yeah.
in disciplining me. She gave me certain core things and principles that I think are valuable to this day. One of them was smile, and another one was, pay attention to the elders. There's wisdom there,
Mm-hmm.
So with me and my children, uh, I laid back on the corporal punishment, and I just I tried to talk to connect and understand them,
Okay.
right? Um, them being all female children makes me have to work a different side of myself,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe for
Do you think that you were given the four girls because God wants you to work a different side of yourself?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, I believe so, because as much as I'm here to raise them,
Mm-hmm.
I believe I have a purpose to connect with the people that are around me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if maybe it is in order to connect with the people that I am around and bring the best out of them, that I need these four beautiful angels to test me in various ways to perfect and drip the dross from this
Yeah.
gold or silver,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So it has changed me in that I consciously work and build with my children to become a better parent
Yeah.
and a better father, a better man, a better husband, better everything, and work to share that with them as
Mm-hmm.
well. So it's changed me in that way.
I'm proud of you, Regis.
Oh,
I am, for real.
I'm proud of you.
No,
Look at
I'm
all
proud of
this.
you.
Look at this.
That's 448. But this, oh yeah, my little place, yeah. But I'm proud of you because your growth, and there's so much more to talk about
Mm,
and I'm definitely gonna have you on another time if you'll let me to.
word.
As I said before, this is the first season, it's like a pilot.
Hmm.
But I just find that from, like I said, Gyalis to, what was it? Gyalis to something, and then now you're transitioning into grow. I said not even transitioning. You're walking in your manhood, and the person that God called you to be. I am proud of you. I think more men need to do it. I think that I love men, obviously, but I love Black men. I prioritize them. And I just feel that the words and the growth and the stories and the sharing is needed in our community,
Hmm.
because a lot of us grow up without fathers, me being one of them. I had a father, but my father passed. So I did have a father in my life. And then I didn't have a father by life took its course.
Hmm.
And I just find that relationship wise, when we think of the Black community, I'm not trying to pin Black women against Black men. I don't believe that. I believe that we have to have an understanding and a deeper understanding of each other to know that, yeah, you maybe didn't grow up with a father, but I didn't grow up with a father neither. So how does that look as a woman? For a woman, maybe I didn't see a woman speak to a man. I'm lucky I had my grandparents, but this is not everyone's situation, right? And was it a traumatized relationship growing up? Was it dysfunctional? So I think there needs to be more healing in our community. So I appreciate you coming to sit with me and talk because it shows your growth and it could influence somebody else to grow as well. So my last question for you is if you can leave men with some words of inspiration after looking at how far you came in terms of transformation, what would that be? And this is your camera. So if you want to talk directly to the camera, you can, because everyone likes to talk directly. But if you just want to do your thing, if you want to be a little extra on it, Reed, just do it.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, it's my first time answering a question like this. If I were to share a short testament as to what men could do from my personal example, is to know yourself. And I've heard that as a child growing up, and I never really understood it, but maybe you just repeat it over and over and over and try to break it down. To know yourself, to know what your likes are, what your dislikes are, what your capacity is, what makes you angry, what makes you like the more you know about yourself, and the more you can start shifting and moving into what you agree and like about yourself, and then let what you don't like about yourself peel off away as you move everything into what you like about yourself, and then move everything that you like about yourself that's good for other people too.
mm-hmm.
And then when you're able to move everything that you like about yourself and that is good for other people, sometimes what's good for other people may not be, you start mixing and building yourself into the best version of yourself, the highest conscious version of yourself. But it's a conversation that is multi-layered and needs to continue, needs to happen. That's why I'm so proud of you
Yeah,
with this
multi-layered.
podcast, or this message, is publishing,
Yeah, thank you.
because it's a conversation that, even if I were to lay out everything beautifully in 30 seconds, it needs to be repeated tomorrow, and
Mm-hmm.
a little here and a little there, a little here and a little there, and onto the generations until the end of time, so that the men and women in our community and in our culture
Yeah.
can grow up believing that greater than the narrative that they've been given, that we've been given for the past 400 years, for the
Mm-hmm.
past 6,000 years.
Yeah.
So we can create, anyways. So yeah, let's continue the conversation.
Conversation. Yeah. Thank you so much, Regis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Keemah.G. Who else would it
Keemah.G.
be?
Who else would it be, right?